So to make you more comfortable with the pattern, I have divided this particular slide into 3 parts, and this is again my experience of it and my recipe of it. So basically what happens is like so few students are just posting up like this time the paper pattern was different. That is what you feel every time. So what happens is like 30% to 25% every year they will be giving you twisted questions, very hard question, chronological order, case laws questions which you can't even find on Google. So that is kind of an exam temperament they are testing, and we'll be talking about that on a later stage. So what happens is if they are asking you a question from Sales of Good Act, they have written the act in the syllabus itself. Okay, they have written Sales of Good Act, they have written Negotiable Instrument Act, Motor Vehicle Act, Consumer Protection Act, and Consumer Protection of course they have mentioned few things. In Competition Act also they have mentioned few things. But then where they have written Sales of Goods Act, that means they are expecting you to read full act and without any guidance as such. So in my case what I did was like I tried to complete it first, but then I was not able to do it, and then I didn't know what kind of question they are going to ask. So I ignored these stuff, like this is where this will be the stuff I'll be covering at the end of my preparation, and I'll be focusing on the subjects which have more weightage in this examination. Take for example in constitution law. So now because there are comparative constitution law questions also which have been asked, and administrative question also which has been asked, administrative law questions. So combining that with everything, there are around 16 or more than that, like 16 to 20 questions just coming from one particular genus, that is constitution law. So with that being said, so constitution is really important. You have to do your BA.LL.B, you have to have the basic knowledge about the landmark judgment, the recent judgments which are there, because they'll be asking you recent judgment for sure. They are asking then landmark judgment from your fundamental rights, okay, and maybe from emergency they would be asking. But then what happens is like what you need to understand, you'll be seeing the pattern, you'll see this is just an example and you can go and check. So each year they are asking a direct question from directive principle or fundamental duties. Okay, a direct question. A direct question would mean that if you're doing it from your BA.LL.B, so what is Article 40, what is Article 44 Uniform Civil Code, what is Article 51, and then 51A is your fundamental duties. So how many amendments came into picture. So this is the stuff you can just do from your BA.LL.B. You don't have to open a huge constitution law book to cover all that. Okay, so such kind of direct question are also being asked from constitution law. That means you have to do your constitution law from BA.LL.B as well, and where in the fundamental right stuff and the kind of a landmark judgments and the kind of a chain which goes around in your say for example silent features, and then constitution preamble, what were the amendments to preamble, your article 13 which is connected to preamble, and then 368 which is also amendments which are connected to article 13. Okay, so this kind of a chain maybe you need to understand depthly and in deep, and you have to read it from a book. Other than that, there are lot of things you just can cover from BA.LL.B, such as the power of president. Okay, then what are the structure where you have to, if judges are appointed, what are the points for that, which is the article for that, and all of those things. So parliament and whole structure, deputy speaker and everything, these can easily be done from BA.LL.B, where only one liners are given, and in those one liner also you just have to see what is the age for being a judge and what is the age for being a parliament member. Okay, so those kind of things are very easy to be done with BA.LL.B only. Okay, don't open huge book, be your own friend, and out of that also I would suggest make few notes, because constitution law is such a huge subject. First of all, if you'll start doing constitution law from today, you won't be able to complete it within 1 month also, if you're doing it in depth also. Okay, and you have to complete it regularly. Then it could be like, it is advisable that you do constitution law in your half day, like do it in the morning and take another subject in the evening, because if you're stuck with this subject, as I've already said, there are 16 questions, 20 questions coming on, and you're stuck with this subject, this is important, this is what I have to do. So you'll be stuck with it for very long. So what happens is like when we enter into fundamental rights, so there are 200 case laws, more than that for a particular article, so which are kind of a landmark judgment. So don't do that to yourself. You can refer to AKGen and AKGen LL.M, which is a book for your LL.M CLAT preparation, but that was very good for me for UGC NET examination. And with that particular book, I was able to understand the fundamental right question, the landmark judgments, which were very important. And that was the way I dealt with this particular unit, which is a very huge one and very important one. So in constitution law plus also IPC also, these seems very huge, but then with IPC what happens is like there are only few concepts in which you need to use a book, like concept of murder, culpable homicide, 299 and 300, what is the differentiation, what is actus mens rea, and differentiation between that, and common intention, common object. So for those particular things, of course you have to take a book or maybe take help of any other source. Other than that, IPC is very much understandable through your BARAC and the examples which have been given there. Okay, with that being said, so constitution law and IPC, because they are huge, so what I used to do is like divide this particular subject in each day. Like I'll be doing only fundamental right and duties today. Tomorrow I'll be jumping on to parliament, and then I'll be jumping on to judiciary. And also you need to understand the pattern. They are only asking you union judiciary, they are not asking you question from high court or district court or so you have to leave that portion. Just you have to reduce course, that has to be your first step, otherwise you won't be able to complete this course even in 6 months or more than that also. Okay, so with that being said, of course see the previous year paper, check the pattern, the kind of question they are asking, and then focus on the stuff you can do. Okay, with that being said, that means like there are few case laws, as ma'am has already said, like chronological order of case laws, you have to mention, you have to remember the year of those particular case laws which you have never even heard of. So don't worry about those case laws, they are there to just scare you off and like bring your morale down. Okay, and then going on to jurisprudence. So for jurisprudence and international law, so these two units, actually solving questions were more helpful in this, because even if I know what was like a dispute between Hart and Fuller and kind of a discussion they had in their times, even if I read their book, I'm not able to like answer who gave morality and in what aspect, inner morality and outer morality and those kind of things, then it is of no use. So your jurisprudence knowledge which you study in your college, that is very much different than the kind of things UGC NET is expecting out of you.